I have remembered my YouTube password. Well, you know this. You know how I'm slowly becoming a reaction channel, fulfilling my black manifest destiny. Okay, so we're gonna be reacting to this video, one traditional wife versus eight feminists, featuring Savanna Stone Common Ground. The reason I wanted to do this is because this actually, I'm gonna be honest, this isn't something I typically do. I'm not usually one of those type of girls. No, I'm usually not, like, I don't usually react to videos like this. But then my brain started reacting. My brain started doing things. I know I've seen the first few minutes of this, but no, I want to point this video out because I think there's a lot of interesting things. I haven't seen the conclusion, so I don't know how this video ends. But there's some things that I find very fascinating about what's going on. Savanna Stone is a traditional conservative. That is important. She's a tradcon wife. She got married at 19. These are very important things because I'm going to notice some things that are, I think, very interesting for someone who's traditional conservative.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. My fourth claim is that men and women should not be able to work the same jobs. Hi, Savannah.
Carly.
Nice to meet you.
So you claim that women...
So I want you to pay attention to Carly. I'm going to rewind in a second. I want you to pay attention to what Carly is wearing and what Savannah is wearing. Look at Savannah and look at like the dress she's wearing. Look at the shoes she's wearing, her boots. Look how much of her, man, this is going to sound weird, but look how much of her legs are showing compared to Carly, who's a feminist. Because typically when I think of traditional conservatives, I think of people that are, I hate using the word modest, but modestly dressed, but dressed as in like covered head to toe and all of that. Like, let's rewind and see what Carly's wearing compared to what Savannah's wearing. I want you to pay attention.
Hi, Savannah.
Carly.
Nice to meet you.
So you claim that women and men can't work the same jobs, and I'm just curious to why you think that.
Now, I'm gonna, expand more on Carly because I think Carly is very interesting. But if I didn't know who the conservative or who the traditional conservative is and who the feminist is, I would have thought it was Carly. I would have thought Carly was the traditional conservative and that Savannah is the feminist just based off what they're dressing. Because I'm not gonna lie, Savannah dresses like she's going to the club, but she's also dressed like she's going to the office. Maybe her business is like, maybe she's a corporate nightclub person. I don't know. She kind of did the best of both worlds. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of impressive.
Should not be able to work the same jobs. And I'm mainly talking about combative, military, cops, law enforcement, anything super physical and combative. I don't think women should be in those positions.
Because of biological reasons?
Correct.
So in terms of biological reasons, since women carry life, do you think that men shouldn't be able to be stay-at-home dads? Because biologically they don't...
Yeah, I actually don't believe men
that.
should be stay-at-home dads.
Wow.
Carly's actually kind of smart, I'm not gonna lie. She not only took the claim of, okay, women should not be able to do the same jobs because should not be able to do the same because of biological reasons because men are stronger. She actually kind of did the contrapositive by saying, what about a stay-at-home man? Big man teen. Shout out to her doing the converse, contrapositive. Look at her doing some logic. Let's go, baby. But no, Carly says some things that I think break down Savannah's argument. But we have to just watch the video and see what she says.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, we can argue that all day.
Right.
I think that's more so my perspective, and I'm also coming from a Christian perspective. So I don't think it's like if we're thinking from a biblical perspective, it literally says in the Bible, like, men who do not provide are worse than an unbeliever, and so they're damned to hell, basically.
Okay.
It's interesting how she brought up the Bible, because what about Mary Magdalene? I think there's also, oh my gosh, you see, I'm forgetting biblical people. But there's also, is it Rebecca or not Rebecca, Isaac's wife? I think Sarah's Abraham's wife. But throughout the Bible, there's been women that have worked. Deborah, the judge, the woman judge. But so it's interesting how she says that using the Bible, women shouldn't work. when throughout the Bible there are women that work, like throughout the time there's women that have worked. So it's so interesting that she's like, oh, but using the Bible, even Miriam, she led praise. Like she worked, like that's a job, leading praise. Like I've seen some, I'm telling you, man, some of these praise and worship people, they're working. So it's interesting how using the Bible, women can't work because a man that doesn't work. But there's been times in the Bible that women worked. But like I said, I think her argument breaks down more than she thinks it does.
I think also, and just speaking from, I have a husband, so I know this from his perspective, work gives men a lot of purpose as well.
Sure, so
I know
some
it's not
men,
a claim,
and also
but
raising kids gives some men a lot of happiness as well. And I think that it gets really hard when we try to create these biological boxes to fit people into, because biologically, sex isn't binary. There's intersex people that exist that,
I'm not sure what that means.
intersex people, it's actually about 2% of the world's population are intersex, which is about as many natural redheads as there are in the world. And it's when somebody is born with not stereotypically XXXY chromosomes, or they might have different chromosomes that match what's down there. So where do you fit those people in biologically? Because biologically, sex isn't even binary. And if we're talking about gender, that's not binary either. You have non-binary people. So like, how do you fit them into what jobs they can and can't work?
Yeah, so you're born male or female.
Or you can be intersex. That's biologically a thing. You can be born
Right,
neither.
you're talking about such a small percentage, and I'm talking on a macro perspective, that there's male and female.
Sure, but for these people, where do you place them? It's hard because it doesn't...
But that's not even the claim. The claim is women and men should not be able to work the
Okay,
same jobs.
Sure.
So that's what I'm arguing, is that I don't think women should be in
But you're saying
combative positions.
because of biology.
Because of biology, I also think that they should be more protected. Like
Okay.
we as women should be a more protected species because we give
see.
life. And we are more delicate than men. That is a fact.
Sure.
It's interesting how she'll use biology when it's convenient, but then when her argument breaks down, like intersex people. Because imagine if I said, you know what, if you're a redhead, you don't deserve a job. You don't. Every redhead on the entire planet Earth, don't care if you're 2% of the population, you don't deserve anything. You know how crazy that would sound? Except for her, she can kind of just, boom, get away with it. And this is going to sound like I'm bashing her. I'm really not. I'm really not bashing her at all. If anything, I respect. It takes a lot of courage for doing what she does. But I don't think she's thought of the nuances. I think that Savanna has created a general rule and hasn't really worked out all the things where all the times where the general rule breaks down and what to do about that. Instead, she results back to binaries, or I think Carly uses the word buckets, but I'm going to use the word binary.
I think that biologically, women, studies have shown, are better multitaskers, are better at strategy, have a higher pain tolerance, have a better immune system. So we could say biologically, because of this, women are better suited to be leaders. Would you agree with that?
No, not
Because-
necessarily, because that's not
But
true for
biologically,
every...
it's not true that every man is
Biolog-
biologically bigger than every woman either, right? See, I think that your biology and how you were born shouldn't dictate what kind of job you have. That should be based off your skill. If a tall man and a short man are going out for the same job, whoever has better skills should be hired for that job. It doesn't matter that somebody was born shorter or taller than the other one. Biology doesn't
Men
matter.
have far higher levels of testosterone than women.
Notice how she completely ignored the pain tolerance and the nuance. Because, like I said, I think Savanna's argument breaks down when you actually, put it to the test. Also, another thing about, like, let's say men in combat roles. I think, now you need to fact check me on this. This is, you see, like I said, your boy's reacting in real time. We react in real time over here. I think only 2%, I think under 10% of the military are in combat. Most of the military is logistics. So, which is office work, which is being in a command center. So the idea that, a man biologically is better, like, that doesn't make sense because most military operations, from my understanding, I'm not in the military, I'm not a military expert, from my understanding, require planning and logistics. it's not like, oh, well, I'm a strong man. Like, yes, you need that. But also there are going to be some women that are better suited for certain combat things than men, which Savanna can't admit that, because then she's going to have to backtrack some other arguments she's made.
Yeah, that's true, but that doesn't have anything to do with your ability to work.
No, and I don't think we're going to agree on this claim, because my 2 points under this claim are, number one, we're biologically different. Number two, I think women should be protected in society. Okay. Those are my reasonings for why I don't think that they should work the same jobs. And it goes back to the same thing I've been talking about with the draft. There's a reason that women aren't drafted and forced to go into war, because there are those biological differences. Also, we're seen as the more valuable gender because we're able to give life. So naturally, women were protected.
We're like God, we create life. I did want to bring up a point earlier that you said.
I'm sorry, that is funny. We're like God. You know what? God is a woman, guys. On the Intende channel, God is a woman. But notice also she made the other claim that women should be protected, which, like I said, it's interesting, because then when you break that down, then it's like, okay, are men disposable? Is that what you're saying? That, okay, if you're just a man, you're just disposable, send you off to war, it doesn't matter. Like, what if your husband, would you willingly just send your husband off to war? He's a man. Are you okay with your husband just getting sent off to war? And if he dies, oh, well, you'll just get another one because you're a man and you're a gentle woman. Like I said, I don't think she's really thought about, like, the nuance in what she's arguing.
About how, women should value marriage and children over a career. And I was just curious because, you have this amazing content creating career. You're out here doing debates with everyone, which is awesome. Like, you're very successful. Congratulations on all that.
Thank you.
That's really impressive. But I was just wondering, with all due respect, if you truly feel that way, then why are you here, debating, doing things to further your content creation instead of being a mom and having kids and being at home right now, if you truly thought that? Because
I'm here with my husband.
Right, but you don't have any kids. You're not at home with your kids.
I think a woman's fertility and her choice of when to have kids is between her husband and God. Personally,
I agree. The choice, yes.
Okay, that has nothing to do with if.
Sorry, it was really subtle, but she even said you're so close. But I want to hear her argument, because I was thinking something similar.
If it's more important, I value my marriage way more than my career.
And that's great for you, but I'm saying I feel like that's just not true, because if you really believe that, you wouldn't be here debating. You would be at home with kids.
But I don't have children yet.
Why don't you have children yet? If it's the most important thing, why are you doing things for your career?
Is between her husband and God. I think that's a very disrespectful question of why I don't have kids yet.
Well, because you're saying it's the most important thing for a woman, but
I'm saying it's more important than your career. I didn't say that I have to give up my career completely in order to have a successful marriage. I have an amazing marriage. My husband is here with me today.
And that's why feminism has given us this opportunity to be able to do both, just like you, to be able to, choose what path we want.
No, feminism would rather me divorce my husband or have never gotten married and have just gone full career. Yes, it would have. And if we go back to all of the writings of the early
feminism is the reason we're here being able to debate right now.
No, and
feminism is the reason you're able to be on TikTok and say your views.
Everyone says that. Who do you think allowed feminism?
What do you mean, allowed?
Okay, so notice though, like, yeah, she is a walking contradiction. And actually, I don't think conservatives like to admit this, but conservatives are feminists too. You can't have it both ways. I have met conservative women that are not on social media. They are cooking and cleaning. The only reason I met these people is because I got invited to a religious event. Like, I don't see them at the grocery store. I don't see them at the club. I don't see them at the bars. I don't see them at Starbucks getting a pink drink. Those are the feminists you see out. If you want a truly trust me, I've met the woman with 5 kids, 7 kids. Like, I don't know how I got invited to these religious events, man. But your boy gets invited to things. And I have seen conservatives. What she is doing is a feminist thing. The fact that she can have a career, make hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even millions of dollars on social media, and not have children, proves Carly's point. And I don't think, and Savanna, she knows it internally. The reason she knows this internally is because she's getting mad defensive. So the problem is, though, like I said, if she admits that truth, she would have to also question other things about biology and men and women. And this is my biggest problem with the tradcon movement, is that if women having careers outside the home and making their own money is feminist. Like, that's feminism. That's the way our modern world is designed. And she is benefiting from that. The fact that hundreds of thousands of people watch her, like, Savanna Stone is benefiting from that and is doing a form of feminism. Whether she likes to admit it or not, or call it something different, that's neither here nor there.
Loud feminism?
Yeah, who do you think allowed feminism?
That question doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it
Feminism
does. So
is
the
a movement that has
patriarchy,
happened.
the patriarchy is what allowed feminism to even come into fruition.
Feminism is anti-patriarchy. So yeah, we're fighting patriarchy, if that's what you're saying, rather than a matriarchy. Is that, I'm confused.
Well, we live in a matriarchy. That's a whole other...
We do not live in a matriarchy.
We absolutely do. That's a whole other
Can I
debate.
also say something really quick? Because earlier I heard you say matriarchy is women over men, right? And that's actually not accurate. We can't compare matriarchy to patriarchy in that way. It's not necessarily women over men, like the same structures of patriarchy. Matriarchy actually centers motherhood and children at the center and community. That's what matriarchy is. So I was actually surprised to hear you say that.
It's women making more political and influential decisions when we're talking about a matriarchal society.
And it centers motherhood and it centers children,
Right,
as
so
does
you
feminism.
you could say the same thing about patriarchy, because patriarchy naturally would have been fatherhood. It's a paternal protection. But you guys, demonize the whole thing. And so now we have all these weak and feminine men that aren't taking care of our society. So now the women have to step up and be boss bitches and whatever.
I think men are capable of doing whatever they set their minds to as well.
Oh, Savanna, and I'm going to probably say some words at the end of this video. You know what the worst part is? I know you don't believe what you're saying because you live a life which is, like I said, modern, feminist, and progressive in some ways. The fact that you are at the forefront and that I don't even know who your husband is. I know who you are. I don't know who your husband is. That's a very feminist thing. I think you're saying these things like, and I think some people have even called you the female Andrew Tate. Because, you know what? Honestly, I get it. I can't read your mind, but you're saying talking points. You're not really saying your lived experience, because your lived experience is making money off social media, going out and debating and having a career. That's not traditional. There's nothing traditional about a woman making her own money, having her own thing, independent, like making her. It used to, like, if you wanted to really bring back feminists, like if you really wanted to advocate for traditional gender roles, you would say women can't get mortgages, women can't get bank accounts, women aren't allowed to make money off social media. But you can't do that. Like, you legitimately can't do that, because that's what women making their own money. That's really the essence of feminism, is women having the ability not to depend on marriage for financial independence, which, you agree with, and you live a life in which that's true. You just can't agree with it.
And that's why feminism is for everyone. It benefits men too. Feminism is saying, men don't have to be this one type masculine, big providing person. Men can be vulnerable. Men can be artistic. Men can do different things. They're not confined to this one box. And that's the whole problem I think I'm having with your views, is you keep trying to constrain people into these certain boxes of what you should and shouldn't do.
What have I constrained?
Based off, well, you're saying that men should do this, women should do this.
No, I said I have a career and I've got a husband and I'm married.
Right.
I love both. I would choose my husband and my marriage every time over my career. Even if he told me today, Savanna, you know what? I don't really think that your career is serving our marriage. I'd say, okay, I'm done with it. My marriage is way more important anyways.
Okay.
Personally.
That would be an interesting thing for your partner to say.
Hypothetically speaking.
Yeah, but hypothetically speaking, I guess, but also you are a content creator making money for your family. You are a breadwinner. You are a leader in the sense. You're not at home with your kids right now. You're a boss babe making money online debating people.
I'm not the leader of my home.
Well, you have leadership in the sense that you are an entrepreneur, that you are a content creator, that you're out here achieving success.
That doesn't make me the leader of my
Their leadership
home.
roles is what I'm saying.
Not
it just seems
necessarily.
a little hypocritical that you want certain women to value marriage and children, but then you're out here doing things to benefit your career. So why
Which
do other
also
women
benefits my marriage and my future family?
And that's great for you, but not every woman wants that is the thing too.
Well, you're straw manning me is what you're doing actually, because I never said that women should stay home and only stay home and never work.
Okay.
I said that in hindsight, if you have both, if we have career and we have marriage and kids is way more important. It's not temporary. You're not replaceable.
For sure.
You gave life to it. Like, I don't even know how you can argue that.
Because
but that's
I'm
not even
saying
the claim
if
we're
you
arguing.
really believe that, then why are you here working on your career?
That you're not making any sense. How is me being here affecting my marriage? How is
Well,
that
you could
affecting-
be at home with kids right now if you wanted to.
Again,
right?
I don't have kids yet.
Why? Because you're focusing on your career.
And
it's not the right timing.
No, I said it's a completely disrespectful question in my opinion, because you keep asking me, and I've said that's between my husband and God. A lot of women can't have children or are infertile, so it's extremely disrespectful to ask that question.
Yeah.
But that has nothing to do with the fact that in hindsight, marriage and kids are more important than a career.
For you, not for every woman. For you, maybe. But not every woman feels that way.
and
What
again,
about infertile women who can never have kids? Is their value less because
Again, that's a straw man. You're saying that I said that marriage, you're more valuable if you've got marriage and kids. That's not what I said. I said if you have both, your marriage and your kids are more important than your career.
Guys finding common ground?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, but I think feminism actually benefits you a lot more than you realize. Feminism
you just don't know your
benefits
own
trad
history.
wives. Feminism benefits stay-at-home moms. Feminism is fighting for, maternity leave, for protections for wives. Feminism is for everyone. And I hope you learned something today. Thank you.
Woo-wee, feminism's for everyone, man. I might have to start selling t-shirts that say feminism's for everyone. Wow, Savanna Stone, man. I need to drink this Republican, MAGA, trad wife, TikTok trad wife Kool-Aid, man. I don't know. Can you guys pay me some shekels? Can I get some shekels from Mossad or wherever? Can I get some money? Because I'll start contradicting myself too. I'll start saying some pro-black, anti-black, pro-man, anti-man. I'll start saying some red pill. I'll be the black Andrew Tate. Heck, why stop at being the black? I can be the Ugandan, the East African Andrew Tate. Savannah, she is contradicting herself. And I don't know if she's ever going to realize it. I don't know if she realizes that as long as she's out here debating. And the thing is, Candace Owens, Brett Cooper, all these people who are trad conservative, trad wife, but they're out here making hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on social media, but saying how conservative and traditional they are. There's nothing conservative or traditional about a woman being financially independent. That is the direct result of feminism. There is no ifs or buts or nuance. No, the reason why you're able to make your own money, and at any time, Savanna Stone can divorce her husband and still, actually, she might even have to pay him alimony because of feminism. And then she'll get real upset if she had to do spousal support for a man, because if she makes more money. Because if you're out here debating all these people and your husband's with you, when's your husband going to be working? It sounds like your career is over his. I don't know. Maybe this was filmed on the weekend. I don't know. Maybe you're some type of, Mennonite, Amish, Jewish Mormon where this was filmed during a day when you're the day off or whatever. I don't know how these things work. I wanted to react to this video because this is actually kind of like a continuation of ambiguity from yesterday, where I see this all the time on the internet. I see people that, they say they're very progressive, they're very this, but then it's like, oh, but they're religious and they are very quiet and they have a family, but they'll say how much of a progressive they are. And I think it's not like black and white, man. These things exist on a spectrum. And sadly, Savanna Stone doesn't realize. And imagine if I looked into Savanna Stone and she actually kept her maiden name. Imagine if she uses her maiden name for her career instead of her, I don't know, married name. You see, but that would be also feminism. So, I just wanted to watch this because it's just interesting seeing this on the internet. I don't know what she's definitely going to change her views or change the way she says things. Now, what she's going to change into, I don't know. People change, though. People change with time. So we'll see. It was very interesting watching her. And I hope I learned something. I learned just how things are. And yeah, I just can't wait to see more reaction videos. Thanks for watching. If you like, please like and subscribe. My social will be linked down below and at the end of this video. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.